By the end of this video, you will learn everything you need to know about SwiftUI navigation. Yes, that is right. I am going to break it down in 5 levels of difficulty. We are going to start off with child and we are going to end with expert. So you will understand everything about SwiftUI navigation that you need to know about. Yes, that is today's topic. And I'm just letting you know that there is still a chance to get SwiftUI Camp at a discounted price. Go ahead and check out the link in the description. There's a 50% off of SwiftUI Camp. And some of the parts that I'm going to talk about today are parts of SwiftUI Camp. So you will learn kind of the expert stuff and all of that, like the high stuff, you will learn in SwiftUI Camp. But of course, I'm going to go into all of the details soon enough. So what I want you to do is, if you have any questions during the live stream, go ahead and ask them in the chat, or just say hello, where are you from? I'm constantly monitoring the chat, and I will answer your questions. And yeah, this is the chance to ask me actually anything you want. Most specifically, if you would like to ask me about SwiftUI navigation, I would love to. SwiftUI navigation is one of my favorite topics in SwiftUI. Actually, it could be called this favorite topic in SwiftUI because I really like to have separation of concerns. And in SwiftUI, that's not really the case. And therefore, I have to take a look at how to make navigation out of the views scope. So yeah, let's get right into it and let's jump into our first one. And the first is SwiftUI navigation in 5 levels, and the first level is how to do that for a child. So I'm going to explain it as I would explain it to a child. What is SwiftUI navigation? How could we explain this to a child? Now, as you can see, I have already prepared a Xcode project right over here, but for this level, I will need these. Yes, you read that right. Those are cards. And let me just explain this to you, because navigation in SwiftUI and is like a deck of cards. So yeah, let me just see what this deck of cards consists of. You can see it is the deck of cards and it's cards. So think of the deck. Now we have an empty deck right over here. Think of it like the actual navigation view, the container. Let me take out the last one over there. So it is empty. This is called the navigation view. Think of this as the navigation view. And then you are going to add all of these cards, the pages, the whole screen fitting views to be shown. And there are 2 types of navigation in SwiftUI. One is like pushing. So first of all, a navigation view will have a root view. So let's see, this is our root view, okay? And then we are just going to add it inside here. Yep, like that. Now I'm not going to add it inside so we can just see it better, but think of it like it's inside. Okay, this is the root view, and then we are going to push another view. So it goes like this, and on top of it, and you can see, here's we have root, the navigation view, root, and then our first view, our first page. I would like to call them pages. It's just a preference. So then we are just going to push another one and another one. You see the pattern here. Okay, so how would we go back? Well, there is an environment object, which we will learn soon enough, that can push it out. So we are going to like pop it, not push it out, pop it. When we want to go back, okay, remove that one, we came back to the previous one. Remove that one also, and that one also, and we came back to the root. Of course, you cannot remove the root folder, root page right over here. Now this is the push type of navigation, and we are going to talk about code in just a second in level 2. So make sure to follow along the tutorial like all up to level 5. So what is the other type of navigation in SwiftUI and in iOS in general? Well, that is the presentation mode. So when we are pushing, we are going to do this, right? Pushing, popping, pushing, popping. But with presentation, we are going to do this from above, like that. Sorry, from below. Let's just push it all the way up and then down. So if we push a sheet, it's going to be like so. So we are going to see some of the root of that sheet. But if it's a full screen cover, we are going to cover the full screen. So we are not going to see anything. So it will be like this. But when we pop or dismiss, it's going to go all the way down. And of course, we can do multiple sheets right over there. And the cool part here is that it will just automatically animate like we are going to see only two of them, like the previous one or the root if that's the case, and the current one. So next stop, if I just push another one up, it would be like so, right? So this is how you can understand how it would be with navigation and sheets. Now, there's another issue here. Okay, well, now we know that this is our root, and then we can just push and present. But there's a tweak here. So there's a catch here, not a tweak, a catch. When you are presenting, you are adding these cards, right? But when you are pushing from below, like so, then you are going to add another deck of cards. You guessed it right. You are going to add another deck of cards. Actually, not a card, but a whole deck of cards with its own root view. So now, this is our navigation view, right? This is how it will look like. Of course, you don't really need to have these deck of cards as navigation views if you are not navigation. If you are just pushing them all the way up, it's just fine. And you will see it in this level too. So this is the whole idea. When you are actually pushing, it's like so, cards, cards, and so forth. But when you are actually presenting a new one, you are doing it with a new deck of cards, being it navigation view or no. It could be no navigation view. We don't need navigation in this particular sheet. And that's navigation presented to a child. And now I'm going to take these cards away, and let's move on to our next level. And the next level will be level 2, and that is a teen. Now, how would we explain all of this to a teen? And yeah, not just all of this. We are going to expand. You are going to learn a lot more because there's much more to learn right over here. So let's move on to level 2. And I've already prepared some stuff over here. Let me just close this because this is actually our demo project. And then let's open up our navigation in 5 levels. So here we are having the teen level 2 folder. And what I've done here is just added a navigation title, right? So this would just say, okay, this is level 2. How do we actually present this level 2? Because let me just go into our content, actually right over here. Currently it's just we're having a content view right over here, and I will go through the resources here in the project when we get there, so you will know everything about this project soon enough. So currently we just have the content view, which is the default content view. So let's change this to level 2, right? So let's just build and run and see what we got so far. And actually, I'm going to just change this to iPhone 13 and build and run again. So you are not going to see actually any change. So a white screen will appear. Why is that? Well, and here we go. As you can see, it's just a simple white screen. Because in level 2, all we are having here is a VStack. But actually, I did add a navigation title right over here. Where is that? You see, it's nothing, so it's nowhere to be found. Well, it turns out that this navigation title only works when you do have actually navigation. So what you need to do is just go into your app file and wrap the level 2 view into a navigation view. So this is actually our deck of cards, you see? And why I like this kind of metaphor here with the deck of cards is that you only want to have only one deck of cards in one navigation stack. So let's build and run again, and let's see what we got now. And we should see that navigation title right over here, right? When you are going to navigate away from level 2 to another destination, and that is what the destination view is, and it says just hello destination view, you are going to present this view from this view, right? So let's just type this out. Let's just learn how to do this in plain old SwiftUI. And the first view that comes into mind, because everything is a view in SwiftUI, is the navigation link, right? And let's just use the simplest one right over here. And I'm just going to call this push, okay? And the destination will be our destination view, right? So let's just build and run again, and let's see how this looks right now. Okay, let's just push. We just tapped on push. There we go. We have hello destination view. If we just tap level 2, like the back button, there we are going to be popped back. That's really nice. How awesome is that? In just a few lines of code. If you're coming from UI Kit, this will be like mind blow. So let's just take a look at how we can do this with sheets. So let's just create a simple button that will trigger our sheet. So we are going to have an action, and that label will have a text, and let's just go present. There we go, present, and the button will do something. Now, presenting a navigation link, like pushing, and presenting a sheet is different. There is no like navigation presentation link or something like that. There's navigation link and there's a sheet modifier. So it looks like something like this. So on any view that you are trying to navigate from, you are going to add a dot sheet, and let's just use the simplest one, is presented. Now we have a binding and on dismiss optionally, and the content where we want to navigate. So let's take care of the binding first. Go ahead and check out the link in the description for the whole playlist where I talk also about bindings and what they are. So currently we are just going to create a private state and is presented, and the default one will be false because of course we don't want to present the destination view by default when this view appears. So let's just bind it. We're going to bind that with a $, is presented. I don't care about on dismiss. You could just, let's say, print something out or whatever you'd like to do when this sheet is dismissed. And then here is the code, the destination, which is our destination view. Okay. So how do we actually trigger this? Well, you just go on the buttons action, we just go is presented dot toggle. And if you are some sort of familiar with SwiftUI, you already knew this, you say, okay, what gives? But remember, this is explaining it into a teen. There will be much more levels to come, so keep on watching. Now, let's just check this out. Let's see if I tap on that button, what will happen? There we go. We are presented with a sheet. Now, the initialization is the same for the full screen cover. So full screen with a capital S, screen cover. There we go. Let's just build and run again. And let's see how this looks like. Let's just present. And if we are trying to swipe down, you see, there's nothing that we can do. Yeah, we cannot tap, there is no back button. What gives? How can we get rid of this? Because actually when you are having a sheet, if you were paying attention, you saw that I just swiped that down. But here you cannot do that. That's the reason why it's called a full screen cover. So let's just add a dismiss button. So let's just go into the destination view and let's create our VStack right over here because I want to keep this text. And then I'm going to add a simple button which will have an action in the label, and the label would be a text. And let's just call this dismiss. Okay, now how can we dismiss? Well, with SwiftUI free, that's really, really simple. There's an environment that you can use here. So I'm just having here our code snippet. It's environment / dismiss private var dismiss. And Captain Michael J2 says, hello Alex, thanks for all your great videos. I appreciate your tutorials. Well, you're very welcome. If you do have any questions, Michael, go ahead and ask them right here. We're talking about navigation, so it's my favorite topic of all SwiftUI. So I would be really glad to answer your questions. Okay, and don't wait till the end. Just if you want to, just let me know. Okay, so how do we dismiss? Well, we're just going to use this dismiss environment and just initialize it with those two parentheses, and that will do the pop of our view. So let's just see that. Let's just click on present. We have our full screen cover, and if we tap on dismiss, it will be dismissed. Hooray! Now let's see if that works when we are pushing, right? We still are pushing the destination view, so this dismiss will be there. Let's just tap on it, and it works. This is really, really great. So yeah, that is, let's just go back to level 2. That is how you can create a navigation link and a button. But as you saw, the button is a little bit, with the full screen cover and also the sheets, it's a little bit trickier. It's not like just having these 3 lines of code. Actually, we just do have 1 line of code. It's not just a navigation link. It's something with the data change. And actually, you know me, I always preach this, SwiftUI is data, all about the data. So let's just see. Captain Michael J2 says, I'm struggling with navigation view in watchOS. In fact, I found that there is no equivalent of minimum scale factor or adjustments size based on width. I'm using navigation title to show some strings, and sometimes it's too long. Yes, I know. So it ends up having those 3 dots at the end and get covered by the watch clock. Yes, so SwiftUI is actually not a build once and use it everywhere. You want to keep in mind, for example, what you said there. If you are having a long navigation title, that will not actually fit your watch face. So you just build one and accommodate for all the OSs like macOS, iOS, watchOS. Don't think there's any solution. Yeah, currently there is not really a solution to override this. And when I'm going to talk about the grad student level and the expert student, you will see some solutions to the problems that SwiftUI and this navigation pattern introduces fixed. But actually what you are talking about, that actually has to stay. So yes, there is no minimum scale factor or adjust for size based on width. Yeah, we have to live with that. That's the phase. What you could do, what I don't really recommend, is just roll out your own navigation, which is really hard. And it will not really resemble, most probably, if you're really clever, it could, but it will not resemble the animation of a navigation view and so forth. So yeah, we got to stick with that, what it is. Okay. So I have to control the length of the navigation title. Actually, you can't control the length of the navigation title. You just want to control the actual string, the text that goes into your navigation title. Like I have it here, level 2. That's only a few characters there. Okay, Gorby Mehmet, you say there is no minimum scale factor. Are you referring to the navigation titles only? Yes, navigation titles on watchOS. So that's what I meant. Okay, yes, let me know. I mean the input to the navigation title. Right, that's correct. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm here in this live. So yeah, this was a great question. Thank you, Michael. Great. Let's move on. I just left off here where, as I told you, it's a little bit tricky, and we are actually changing this is presented. We are toggling true, false, false, true, all of that. So this is kind of leaning into the whole way of thinking about SwiftUI, because it's all about the data, the underlying data that is driving the UI. Here, the isPresented state variable is driving the UI, because if it's false, it's not showing the destination view. If it's true, it will animate in and show the destination view. You're welcome, Mehmet. Okay, so let's just move forward to our next level. And what is our next level? And that is our graduation student. So let's just go back to our Xcode, not graduation, sorry, college student is coming up next. And with college students, you might want to, at that level, let's just call it that level, you want to think about SwiftUI as a data management framework. And whatever the data tells SwiftUI to be presented on the screen, that will be done. So the data is the most important part here. And what I will do here is I will just, when this level 3 view will appear, I will just wait for 3 seconds and do some data changes, right? So let me just go ahead and replace this to level 3, like that. So let's just start off with the simplest one. I want to push the destination view first. So what we would do is just, again, create a navigation link. But this time around, I'm not going to use the simplest one, title and the destination, nor the one with the destination and label, because that is shown over there. I want to hide this actually, hide this navigation link, and I want to wait for a data change, which will be done after 3 seconds. So what I'm using is this initialization, isActive, destination, and label. So the isActive, so let's create a private state over here, isActive, and, oh, sorry, is active, there we go, and by default it's false because I don't want to present it, and then $ is active, there we go. And the destination will be our destination view, and the label, now we have added a push text as the label for the previous one. We are not going to do that. We're actually going to create an empty view, right? So if I build and run this right now, we will actually not see nothing besides the navigation title. So now how can we actually present the destination view after 3 seconds? And this is a good example for no user input changes. So what I'm going to do, because this is binded to the isActive state variable, after 3 seconds I'm going to actually toggle the isActive from false to true. Let's just build and run again, and now if we don't touch anything, here are my hands, after 3 seconds, there we go, the hello destination view did pop up. And of course the dismiss also works. Now again it will appear, so after 3 seconds again we are going to be presented with this destination view. Of course you can you don't have to do this on the on appear. I'm just making a point that after 3 seconds the data is driving the UI. Okay, now let's just see how this would look like with like a sheet. So we're just going to create a button again, action and the label, and the actual label would be an empty view. And then let's just see, we actually need a button that has yeah, let's just construct the private state variable is presented, and then this is actually false. And whenever you tap on the button, you want to go is presented dot toggle. But now you are shouting at me, Alex, this is wrong. So this is an empty view. How can you tap it? Yes, you are correct. And I just led you into thinking that it will be a button. What we actually need, and yeah, we would just go like right over here and dot sheet and whatever we did in the previous file. But we are actually not going to do this. What we are going to do, and let me just remove this button real quickly before you think that it's going to be on the tap of a button. Well, no, we need actually some sort of a view. And I'm just going to use this empty stringed text, and I'm going to add the sheet on top of it. So now we just go $is presented. I don't care about the on dismiss. Go ahead and check it out. You can just experiment with that. And destination view. Okay, so now all I need to do is toggle, not the isActive, is presented dot toggle after 3 seconds. Okay, let's just see this. So after 3 seconds, let's just see it. There we go. We have the destination view pushed or like presented all the way up. And of course, the dismiss will basically work. Now, because this view is kind of like just pushed or back, level 3 view, it's not going to trigger it again because it's not appearing again. You see, it didn't trigger the toggle again. So yeah, that's something cool to know. Okay, but what if I just accidentally added some letters in here for the text? And actually, yeah, I don't want to clutter the view with the actions, like the other stuff, like navigation actions. So what you want to do is just, of course, remove the text and set it to hidden. And that will do the same trick. So yeah, let's just wait for this, 3 seconds, and we are presented. Let's just swipe down this time, right over there. Yes, so this is how you would understand navigation in SwiftUI on a level 3 college student way. Okay, as you can see, this is really a little bit complicated, and it has to have these kind of quirks, like we are having an empty view right over here, and then a text, and then hide that text. By the way, if you add an empty view instead of text, it will just actually not work, just so you know, if you were thinking about that. So let's move this a little bit further. So let's go onto the grad student level, and that is level 4 there. Grad students, here we go. We are going to bump this up really, really huge. Now, if you come this far, that's really nice. But these is just really like, it's limited and it's really cumbersome, as you can see. Let's just see. We have another comment here. Yeah, so Colby, just to be clear, my question was only regarding watchOS. I am not sure about iOS. Michael said, yes, yeah, I did understand. It's just only for that particular watchOS navigation bar. Okay, so let's jump into the next file, and that is level 4 right over here. As you can see, again, we're starting off from scratch. And what let me just tell you what I don't like in the SwiftUI navigation, and then we are just going to fix that. First of all, we have this sheet, and then we have this navigation link. It's not coherent. In my opinion, it's either should be a view or both of them should be view modifiers. But I do understand why the SwiftUI theme actually chose this one. Remember the actual demonstration with the deck of cards? When you are presenting a sheet, you are actually not presenting the destination view as a new card. You are actually adding a new deck of cards. So yeah, I do understand that, and that's okay. But I would like to add some syntactic sugar on this that will make it really, really powerful. And this is where SwiftUI Camp comes in. And you will learn all of this in SwiftUI Camp. Let me just remind you, if you take a look at the link in the description, you will be able to have 50% off on SwiftUI Camp. Now, what is SwiftUI Camp? That is an 8 Zoom sessions with me on a group coaching call, and we are going to build out actually whatever the students will like. So I'm just going to ask you, okay, what is your problem? What do you want to learn about? And then we are going to create a curriculum. Now, this link is going to expire in about 24 hours, so make sure that you utilize it. And SwiftUI Camp will start off next week, Monday. Okay, so yeah, coming back to our Xcode project right over here, you see, and for example, one thing that I don't really like is that the sheet does have an on-dismiss, but the navigation link doesn't have an on-dismiss. Yeah, so it's a little bit cumbersome. So let's just add some syntactic sugar onto this, and that is navigation. So yeah, you will get access to navigation, this little library that I have built in SwiftUI Camp. If you're interested, there's also an option to purchase it on my site. So go at rebeloper.com and just select store and you will find it right over there. If you do really like what I will teach you in level 4 right over here. So what you need to know is that, okay, the navigation library has been added right over here. And then there are two things to consider. First of all, we want to have a private state and navigation. And that will be navigation. There we go. We are initializing a private state variable called navigation. Now, the second thing to note here is that we want to use this navigation on the body of our view. This is our body. So we just go uses navigation. As you can see, auto completion, it's really helping us here. So those are the two steps, the only two steps to set this up. So let's create actual navigation. So let's just create a button, for example. Again, we are not going to use navigation link, sheet, or full screen cover. We are going to use something much, much better. So for the label, I'm just going to use a text and navigate. There we go. We are going to navigate. So how do we do that? First of all, let's decide. Do we want to push or do we want to present? Let's just start off with pushing a new that destination view right over here. So we just go navigation dot present, and as you can see, this is the only function that we can use right over here. And present, it has a type, destination, and an on dismiss. So this is really cool because if the navigation is kind of this pushing type of navigation, we're still going to have an on dismiss. Of course, when we are going to push away from that pushed navigation view, on dismiss will also be triggered. So make sure that you also know about that. Okay, so the type. There are 3 types of navigation: page, sheet, and full screen cover. And here comes into place where I like to call these pages because we're just pushing these pages. Sheet and full screen cover, you already understand. So think of the page type of navigation as the navigation link type of navigation. Destination, let's just see the destination, and that is our destination view. And on dismiss, well, actually, I don't care about the on dismiss. You could just play around with this later on if you are going to join SwiftUI Camp, or if you prefer to purchase this navigation on its own. Okay, and as you can see, it's just a few lines of code. Oh, yes, I do need to go and select level 4. And just a reminder, we are still in a navigation view. So don't forget that we still have the navigation view available. So there we go. And now we can just navigate. There we go. We can just go back with the back button, navigate, and we can dismiss. It all works. Like it's really, really cool. Under the hood, it's plain old SwiftUI. So I'm not using any gimmicks or whatever going into UI kit. It's just SwiftUI, but it has this really nice syntactic sugar. And why do you actually want to use this? Well, because first of all, it's really short. And if you wanted to create a sheet, this is the only change you need to do from page to sheet. And now I just navigate. There we go. We have a sheet. And of course, we can dismiss it and so forth. Also, we can have a full screen cover. Let me just quickly show it to you. Let's just navigate. Here we have our full screen cover. We can dismiss. Okay, let's take a little bit of break. Michael also says, Alex, is this something that can be used in watchOS? Asking because that top portion of watch screen is always saved, reserved for navigation view link, and I want to utilize this. Yes, you can use this in watchOS because, as I told you, this is built on top of navigation link, sheet, and full screen cover. So yes, definitely, you can use that. Okay, so yeah, that is how you can navigate. You can present either a sheet or a full screen cover or a page, and it is this simple. Set up a navigation state and then make sure that the whole page uses that navigation, page meaning this body, everything, and then you just go navigation, present, and whatever you'd like. Okay, So that is level 4. Now, that's really good because we are already at level 4, like grad student level. Now let's take this a little bit further, and that is level 5. Like, yes, so as you can see, we have our champion here. It is the expert of navigation. And again, I'm going to start off by laying out the issues that we might have. Now, let's just go back to our Xcode project right over here. And yes, this might seem for you, and when I created this first, it was kind of really great. And it might seem to you that, okay, this is the holy grail of navigation. I just do whatever I want upon an action. The whole power of this, that this is on an action, so on a button action. You don't have to worry about navigation links or setting up a dummy empty view for that if you need to, or setting up an empty stringed text for the sheets and so forth. But this also comes with its downsides. Not the downsides, because what I'm going to tell you is the downside for the whole system, how SwiftUI is navigating. And yeah, hopefully I just made you really curious. What's going on here? As you can see, we are actually creating a state variable on the view itself, which means that this state variable is owned by the view, which in turn means that the actual navigation is owned by this view. Whenever we present a destination view, it will be coupled, like tightly coupled, to level 4, the level 4 view. And that is a problem, because then if we want to present this, for example, from another view, then again, that will be coupled to, let's say, whatever, the home view. And as you know, if you do like to keep clean code, coupling, hard coupling code, views, or if you come from UIKit view controllers, it's a bad thing to do. So how do we actually solve this? And yeah, by the way, with my solution, there also comes the extra bonus that we can pop to root or pop to anything else. You see, on the destination view, we are just using this dismiss. Now, that is just going to dismiss the currently presented view / page. But with what I'm going to present to you right now in level 5, it's just going to blow your mind. Let's just go at it. So here we go, level 5. We are at expert level. And the problem here is that when we are navigating, we are depending on the previous view, basically. And we don't want that. We want to have an independent navigation router. Yes, and that router, we are going to think about it like in UIKit terms. There is the coordinator pattern. So we are creating this coordinator, and there are many great coordinator GitHub repositories. They are out there on UIKit, but I lacked to find a proper coordinator for SwiftUI navigation. There are some few, but they do have their own disadvantages, which I fixed. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. So what we want to do is have level 5 as the root, and then we want to navigate to our destination view. Now think of the coordinator pattern as we are going to have these blocks of navigations that we can switch and choose between all of them, and the order we can do whatever we want on when we are creating our navigation stack. Okay, Colby says, thanks. Yeah, that's what I was curious about. Actually, good question. Yes, it was a good question. Let's move forward. So how would we do this? Well, first of all, we need to think of this these blocks as a container that is containing them. So all of the navigation, like these views, actually, level 5 view and destination view, will be inside of our content view. And whenever we switch the trigger, which you will see in just a second how we can do, then from level 5, it will navigate to the destination view. And of course, if you're having multiple of these views, you can pick and choose and whatever. You will see it in just a second. So let's create our level 5 container. So what I will do is just go ahead and create a new file right over here. It will be, let's just start off, actually it's a SwiftUI view, and then level 5 container. And I know there's quite a lot of, well, actually not that much, but there is some setup for this. But once you set it up and learn how to use this, this will be really, really like mind-blowing. Yeah, you will see it. So we have our level 5 container, and that is our body, hello world. So what we want to do here is create our navigation. And this, yeah, I almost forgot, comes from Navigation Stack, which you will get for free when you join SwiftUI Camp. Again, the link is in the description for a 50% off discount. And the link will expire in about 24 hours. So yeah, go ahead and check that out. So what I'm going to do is create an extension on level 5 container. And I need actually a view model for our navigation. And I'm creating it as extension because I want this to be accessible only on the level 5 container. So what I'm going to do is create a class, and that class will be called navigation. There we go, navigation. And that's an observable object. And yeah, if you have taken a look at the previous videos in the playlist, which is linked also in the description, you will know how to create these observable objects and why this works with MVVM and so forth. So let's just create our navigation for this container. Where should we be able to navigate for? So let's create our enum first, and then we'd have a case, enum, and let's just name this page. I forgot to name the enum. So we will have a case of level 5. So actually this will be the root, but I will show you how to add that root. The other case would be our destination. So the destination view, but I would like to keep it short. So destination view. Okay. Finally, we want to create a navigation flow, and that is a published variable. So we can listen to the changes when we are going to trigger these page changes, of course. So published var flow, and that will be navigation flow of type page, because that is what we are going to add in here. You will see in just a second. And then we want to add a root of what type of page? Level 5. Let's take a look at the comments right over here. Alex, is this camp a one-on-one session with you? Actually, it is a 5-on-1, maximum of 5 on one session. It's kind of a group coaching. It will be 1.5 hours of me explaining all of that stuff. And yeah, go ahead and check out the link in the description for more info. 8 Zoom sessions, 1.5 hours each, and then half an hour Q&A. It could be about the session that we just completed, or it could be anything about SwiftUI, iOS development, or how I work, business questions, anything actually that you want. I like to limit these because I'm just reopening SwiftUI Camp. We've done 2 of those previously last year, and what I like to do is just go with these 5 people, maximum of 5 people, because then on that half an hour, you will have the ability to ask any questions. And of course, half an hour multiplied by 8, you will have a lot of opportunity to kind of ask me one-on-one. Okay. So we have our flow created. Now, what do we want to do? Well, we want to actually use this flow on the container. But because we want to actually use this flow all the time, like the navigation's flow, on all of the subviews of the level 5 container, we're actually going to create it, initialize it right on top here, all the way on the app. So let's create it right over here. Add state object. Oh, not state, but state object, private var, and currently I'm just going to call it navigation, but if you are going to have a lot more navigations, like the containers, then you want to, well, actually I'm just going to go level 5 container. And then I'm going to initialize it, level 5 container dot navigation, and initializing it. And yeah, the name should be navigation right over there. So what I'm going to do is just add this to as an environment object, so it will be accessible throughout the children of the view that I'm adding it as an environment object. So what I'm going to do here is just comment this out. We don't need this. We don't need the navigation view. Everything will be taken care of the container. So what I'm going to do is just call level 5 container. There we go. And then I'm just going to add an environment object of level 5 container navigation. Therefore, everything that's in level 5 container, all of the subviews, all of its navigation will have access to this environment object. So let's do that. Let's get access to that. In the level 5 container, I'm just going to go at environment, private environment object. Yeah, that's my shortcut. So we are going to have here a navigation of type navigation. And I only need to add navigation because here is our extension class for that navigation. Okay, so now it's time to add all of the, this has been all of the setup. Now it's time to create a navigation stack, right, or navigation stack. There we go. And I'm just going to use the one with the flow. There are multiple types you can have this, but I'm just going to use the one with the navigation flow. And for that, I need navigation dot flow. And I believe I have to add the $sign right over here because we need to bind it. And here comes the page builder. This is the interesting part. It will come off and have a page in. Okay, so what are these pages? Well, actually, they are the pages that you are going to navigate to. So let's just switch through all of the pages. So switch page, and as you can see, there's an auto completion option right over here. So I'm going to use that. So level 5, that is level 5, the actual view. I'm just going to add it here. Destination, that is our destination view. There we go. And that is all you have to do right over here. We are done with the setup. Now it's time to actually use this. So first of all, let me just see level 5. Yeah, it has a navigation title. Let's see. Let's build and run, and let me just see if I forgot anything here. No, everything seems to be working. There is level 5, the navigation title. So it should have been set up correctly. So what I want to do now is just navigate. And of course, you could just create multiple other destination views. This is the beauty of it. But for the sake of the simplicity and time, let's just have only one destination view. But anyway, you could just create these at your liking. And this is really, really cool when you, let's say you have a deep link and you want to construct your navigation manually. That will be super, super. And we are going to learn about this in SwiftUI Camp all the way down. So what we need here actually is just get the navigation. So just grab it as an environment object. So private environment object, and this will be navigation. And what type is it? Well, level 5. Actually, yes, it will be a level 5 container dot navigation. And because we set it as an environment object, we are able to grab this. So now let's create finally our button right over here. Let's just have that as a text, and then navigate. And right over here, you could just go $. So this is actually a published variable, if you recall. So that's why we need to add that $sign navigation dot flow. And here comes the really, really cool part. So present, and there are some options. Present simple page, a page with options, present a page with a completion, page options, and completions. So let's check out the simplest one, and then I'm going to talk about also the options. So here we go, the page, and just think about this page has been declared right over here, like this page. If you just name it, for example, scene or whatever, then you will see that this would be of type scene or whatever you choose. But yeah, just stick with page because it's much easier and convenient. Readable, much readable. So now, if I hit dot there, you see I can navigate to all of the options right over there. So let's just choose destination. Let's hit Command R and let's see how this looks like. So now level 5, there we go. Let's navigate. We just navigated there. We can also dismiss. Navigate, just go back. So it all works really, really nice. Okay, how would we do this as a sheet, you might ask? Well, let's just use the one with the options. So we want to have a page with an option. So we just go destination and then options. Let's just have dot in it. And there we go. We have a style and then full screen cover, sheet, or default. Default is actually the one that is just with a regular is detailed link. So let's just choose sheet here. And that's just it. Now, I can go on and talk a little bit more about the options, which I will in SwiftUI Camp. So yeah, there it goes. It's just working really nice. But what I want to talk about, and in conclusion for level 5 as an expert with navigation is, yeah, and by the way, with the completion, if you just choose the completion, then you can navigate again and navigate again. Just grab the flow and present something else. And that will just simply go through that navigation. So let me just give you here a dummy navigation. So present, let's just go a page and the completion. That will be a destination. And then on the completion, let's just navigate away. So let's just go $navigation.flow.present. And let's just present the destination again. Why not? Let's just present the destination, and that would be it. So let's just do that. Okay, when I tap navigate, it will just go twice because we just set it like so. And we can go back and back. Of course, this is kind of a dummy navigation flow, but now you know how powerful this is. Okay, let's just go back to level 5. Well, actually, not the level 5. I'm going to copy out the navigation from level 5, and I'm going to go into the destination view and paste this in here. So now we have access to our navigation. And let's not use the dismiss for this dismiss, okay? Let's just use $navigation.flow, and then we want to use, just a second, we want to pop, actually. Yes, we want to either pop. Let's just use this. So 2 functions to remember, present and pop. Really, really straightforward. Dismiss, there we go. It's just simply working. Now, we already done this with dismiss. Where are you going with this, Alex? Well, there are a lot more. So let's say you are in the more complicated, like multiple pages have been shown. You can just have more pop code here. So let's just go pop last 2, for example, pop to root, pop to a certain index. So you have index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. Pop with a completion, all of that. So it's pop last with a pop style because maybe you want to pop immediately back, or you want to have a pop style of animated. So you just pop 1, 2, 3, all the way to where you want to pop. So this is really, really helpful and really flexible. The most important part here is that it is really, really flexible when you are building out navigation in SwiftUI. And that concludes our expert. Now, level 4 and level 5, navigation and navigation stack, they will be fully covered in SwiftUI Camp. And SwiftUI Camp, go ahead and check out the link in the description. By the way, it's at store.rebeloper.com/SwiftUI Camp. If you do want to have a 50% off, you can do so counting from now 24 hours. After that, the code will actually expire. And yeah, hopefully I will see you in SwiftUI Camp. first come, first serve. As you can see, there's already 1 seat taken out of 5, and I will definitely close this when all of the 5 seats are taken, because I want to focus on those 5 people only. I don't really care about massive volumes. I want to talk about what you do want to learn in SwiftUI Camp, let's say core data, SwiftUI, advanced SwiftUI tips, or we could just, for example, build out a Netflix app or something like that, Firebase, whatever you feel that you want to learn. After you make your purchase, I will reach out to you and talk about what you want to learn. This is really important because, yeah, how would I know what you want? Actually, we are going to talk before we start the camp what you want, and then I will create a curriculum that will be great for all of the students. Okay, now that is it for navigation, and yeah, hopefully you did like this. That is level 5, and as I told you, you will with this video now you are set up for navigation in SwiftUI. Now, hope you enjoyed this, and as usual, I will see you in the next one.